Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shindara Layemi and it's so good to have you back. So this is my YouTube channel, Shindara's Voice, and I talk about faith, career, relationships and lifestyle. Basically I just learn and share, and it's nice to have you here. If this is your first time, thank you so much. And if you're constant, if you're a subscriber already, thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed to this content, to this channel, and I promise to always deliver great premium content. Also, please let me know the kind of content you want me to post going forward, and also let me please engage my post and let us discuss together. So today I'm going to be talking about the realities of being a pastor's child. Yes, if you do not know, I'm a pastor's child, and I've been a pastor's child since like forever. Like I basically did not know when my parents became pastor. I just grew up knowing that I'm a pastor's child. But I wasn't one of those people that their parents, call them together and say, you know what, okay, so I'm going to resign from my full-time ministry, I'm going to resign from my job and I'm going into full-time ministry. You know, all of that. Yes, some people had that privilege. Some of us were just born into it, and then we didn't have opportunity to decide whether we want to be a pastor's child or not. But whichever way, there are good parts to it, and as you all know, whatever has a good side, definitely as the dark side. Let me not say bad side, but everything that has a merit has a demerit. And so I'm going to be talking about the cons, basically the expectations and the realities, the pressures of being a pastor's child. But before then, let's not be selfish. There are good things about being a pastor's child. Majorly, one thing I really enjoy being a pastor's child, I'm going to be using my experience to share the things that I think that a lot of people who are pastors' children will also relate with. So one of the things I really enjoy being a pastor's child is that you are basically a lot of people's favorites. Like, even if they don't like you, they might not really even like you, like you, but then they just do eye service and they get a lot of gifts, you get away with some stuffs. People just try to be nice to you. Yeah, especially people that know that your parents are pastors, they just try to be nice to you. So even if they really don't like you like that, but then they just try to be nice to you. Another thing is that you have to develop your leadership skills, like farm. You used to take leadership positions right from when you are younger. In children's church, I don't like leading quiz, I don't like leading Bible verses, I don't like taking children songs and all of that. You begin to take leadership, you begin to learn how to be a leader, how to fight for the rights of people, how to take blames, because everybody's making noise in class, and you yourself too, pastor's child, you have to make noise. How now? Like, you begin to just learn how to be a leader at that point. So there are a lot of good things when it comes to being a pastor's child. Another thing is that you learn to learn the spiritual side of things from the beginning. So you're born into a Christian family, and so you understand these things. Not like people that got their salvation from when they were probably in school and all of that, which is also very nice. At the end of the day, you got your salvation, but then as a pastor's child, you get to have this, like, you grow up in the way of the Lord. You're brought up in the way of the Lord. Now it depends on if you're going to now take it or not, but at least you're brought up in the way of the Lord, and that's what's important. So these things are like the good side of being a pastor. There's a lot of other good sides of being a pastor's child, but then these are just a few things that I know that really even helped me personally, because another thing is also helped me to, like, I've been able to accommodate a lot of people into my space. It has allowed me to, like, learn, which is also a disadvantage I'm going to be talking about later in the video, but it has also helped me to learn how to adapt to culture, how to accept people into my space and all of that, and how to be very accommodating. Yeah, so let's now talk about the realities. What are the realities of being a pastor's child? Farm, he's playing to you. We're just going to talk about 5, and please come along if you think that this is what you want to listen to. Number 1 is there are a lot of expectations. Jesus, like, the expectations are numerous. Like, you grow up with the expectation that you should be able to do this, you should be able to take over your parents' ministry, you should be able to preach, you should be able to know all the Bible verses, you should be able to know all the Bible verses, you should not have issues in your life. Like, everybody just thinks that you should be able to live up to perfection. There's a lot of expectations. When you do this thing, it is wrong. You do that, it is wrong. And a pastor's child, why will be doing this kind of thing? Like, they don't want to know that you're growing, you're learning, you're also a child, you're allowed to make your own mistakes. No, the expectations are numerous, and it's just overwhelming because people have expectation of what they think that you should be. They don't even want to know that you're growing and you're allowed to make your own mistakes, which can be very annoying sometimes. Like, another reality of being a pastor's child is that they don't have their own identity. And that's why you see a lot of pastors' children go into secret things. A lot of them fornicate and all of that, like do a lot of things that you should not even be. They should not. Children of God, not even pastors' children of God should not be seen doing, because they don't have their own identity. A lot of times they hide under the identity of their parents. So because their parents have preached against these things, automatically they cannot do these things that the parents has preached against, and they want to try these things out. So they begin to live life of hypocrisy. They begin to they begin to have secret sins and all of that. Like, they begin to do things that that they know that people will not accept, because I mean, they're scared of making mistakes. They don't want and they're supposed to make their own mistakes and learn from their mistakes. You see a lot of times that pastors' children are the ones that you see doing a lot of things that should not even, that children of God generally should not do. And then all the things, like once you see a pastor's child do this thing, the next thing you say is pastor's child. Like, fam, it could have been you. The worst part is that you yourself, in your what you do behind closed door is worse than what this pastor's child has just done. But because the person is a pastor's child, quote and unquote, they are not allowed to sin anymore. As in, they are supposed to be perfect. Like, nothing is supposed to be wrong with them. No, this is so wrong. Like, and this is the reality that all of them have to deal with. Now they begin to do things in their secret place. They begin to now, okay, maybe I mean, they grew up learning that this and this and this is bad. Wearing trouser is bad. Doing makeup is bad. Wearing earring is bad, because of the rules and regulations and the church doctrines as laid down. And for them, they've got to know God for themselves, and then they've seen that, okay, I really don't believe in all these things. I want to try it out. I want to know how it feels like doing all these things. Yes, some of these mistakes that they make will hurt them, but there's some that they just need to try out to just know. I mean, yeah, God even tell them for themselves that, okay, this is wrong, this is right. Not that because pastor has said that this is what is right, so even pastor's child must be able to do it. Yes, I understand that. I mean, it's just right that because a parent has said something, the child should not do exactly what the parent has said, yeah? But then, their pastor's children, just like you would disobey your parents, they can also disobey their parents, yeah? I'm not supporting the fact that they should be disobedient. I'm just saying that because people have castigated them so much and they've kept on so many expectations on them, it allows them to not come forward to make their own mistakes freely, and they begin to indulge in secret sins. Now, this is not to indulge them. This is not to support whoever is doing any of these things. Just to say that these are the realities. These are what pastors' children face on a regular basis. A lot of them don't know God for themselves. Like, they don't know God for themselves. They just basically go with what they've been taught. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it. Yeah, and that is what our parents have taught us. They've taught us in the way of the Lord. But we're not allowed to now know what God's plan is for ourselves. A lot of times, some pastors' children, those who their parents have ministries, are GOs, they expect that automatically they should fit their legs into those shoes. Yeah, right. I know. I mean, even doctors expect that. Even doctors have hospitals expect that their children should take over the hospital, right? So it's just normal expectation. But no, things of God are different. If they don't think that they're capable of filling into that position, they don't think they want to go into ministry, you don't have to force them. Like, they don't want to do it. This is not. They're not going to understand the ideology of God for themselves. They want to know what God is saying to them. I mean, God has spoken to my parents. God has said, this is what my parents are. This is what I'm supposed to do. Now let God talk to me and tell me what I am supposed to do here. Because we are human beings, we're individual. At the end of the day, I'm not going to. My dad's salvation is not going to count for me. It's my salvation I will count for myself. So let me also live and let me know God for myself. Let me know what God expects of me as a Christian. Let me understand my identity in God, in Christ. Like, don't come and judge me. Don't come and expect that this is what I'm supposed to do. So a lot of times the reality of being a pastor's child is that they don't have an identity of themselves. Like, they struggle to have their own identity. And the funniest thing that they hide under the fact that they have an identity, because you just see them and say, oh, God bless you, sister, the glory of God is reading upon you. I mean, pastor has preached. And some other time you will see some people compare. Don't they that I don't like when pastor's child preach. He's not under the anointing of his father. The fact that my father is a pastor doesn't automatically make me a pastor. Like, you need to learn that. Let me know God for myself. Let me understand what God is saying. If my father was a redeemed, does not mean that I must be a redeemed person. Okay? Just the way your mother is an Anglican member and then you grew up to become a redeemed member, it's the same way I can grow up and say, okay, you know what, I no longer want to attend redeem. I think I connect more with this particular church and I want to go there. Let us know God for ourselves. They don't know God for themselves. Like, a lot of times they are struggling with understanding God's purpose for their life rather than going on past glory, riding on their parents' shadow. They don't get to enjoy their parents. Oh God. Like, I know that if I say this, a lot of pastors' children, especially those ones who their parents are into full-time ministry or missionaries, will say, yes, you've said it. they don't get to enjoy their parents. Like, a lot of people come in. I mean, when I was growing up, after church, especially on Sundays like this, man, after church, just looks like as if my house is the reception after church service. Like, people will always come to my house to come and eat, and then we're going to wash dishes the whole day, and we are going to be tired. We're going to keep serving and serving, and people will always come to live with you. People will always come to stay with you. Like, you have to accommodate a lot of people into your space. Yes, the good side has really helped me to adapt to cultures. It helped me to be able to accommodate a lot of people, because fam, I have stayed with a lot of ethnic groups in this Nigeria. Name it: Tif, Igala, Hausa, Yoruba, Egbira. Who have I not stayed with in this world? Oh Jesus! I have accommodated a lot of people into my space. You don't even want to. You as a vacationer even go there. But the thing is that they don't get to enjoy their parents. Like, mommy is going from one church to another. They're coming back. Especially when the both parents are into full-time ministry. For me, I mean, I really got to spend a lot of time with my parents. For me, truthfully, but a lot of pastors' children do not have time to enjoy their parents, because parents are on, and they are doing full-time ministry. And even though they want to balance, ministry with, even though they want to balance ministry with their family, a lot of people try to do so. But you find out that one person is coming to stay with, the other person is coming to stay with, they can't even bond with their siblings so well, because a lot of people have come in to stay with them. And I have my own kind of family where they're not born you to come and cause like another person by name, or this, you have to call the person auntie or sister and make the person feel like the person is your family member. Do you get? In that kind of situation, you don't get to even bond with your siblings. You don't get to bond with your parents like that, because they don't want to segregate. They don't want to make people that have come to live with them feel like they are not wanted. So everybody begins to now, like, they now make everybody like equal. So you don't even get to share your parents alone. Food, you are sharing it. Oh my God, see, it's a lot. But then these are the kind of things they go through, and some of them, because of they now go out to look for this coverage, because they don't get this coverage at home. That's why they end up making a lot of mistakes. You see them sleeping with choir masters, sleeping with other people outside, because they think that these are the people that, like, these people have their time, quote unquote. So really, these are part of the things that they really go through. That these are the realities of what they go through. I can't even mention everything. Another thing is, I like to say that lastly, like, the shortcomings of a pastor's child is not the reflection of their parents. No. The shortcomings of a pastor's child is not the reflection of their parents. There's a difference between being a pastor and being a parent. I mean, that the pastor was, preached on the altar, was good on the altar, ministers life to you and all of that. There's another aspect of the person being a parent, and those things are two different things. So don't expect that because he was a wonderful pastor, then obviously he should be a wonderful parent, and that's just by the side. But then when I mentioned the shortcomings of the pastor, I mean, a 16-year-old gets pregnant, normal church, you come back and say, oh, bring the person to church, don't draw the person back, let her accept the man, accept them in faith. A 16-year-old pastor's child gets pregnant, and then the pastor gets suspended. The child probably is a worker by force, obviously, and then the child gets suspended. Like, so, and then you just feel like the parent has failed. The fact that just the way a normal person will have failed, having a 16-year-old child get pregnant, that's the same way you should look at them. Don't now think that because somebody got pregnant at 16 as a pastor's child makes it different. I mean, it's the same thing. A 16-year-old that gets pregnant, whether being a pastor's child or not, is the same thing. So now, but the pastor's child is segregated more. The pastor's child is castigated more than a normal church member. And then you now feel like the parent has failed. You now think that the pastor too has failed because the child got pregnant. No. The shortcomings, I mean, the person will have, at the end of the day, see, this parenting is not about principles or anything. You will try, you read all the book, you pray all the prayer, everything, but it's just God that trains a child. So the fact that the pastor trained this child, and the child went to do a lot of things because of the kind of things I've mentioned that the child is facing. I mean, a child that is smoking and doing all of these things, probably the parents have not had the time, or probably even the parents have had their time, but then they just don't even know how to go about taking care of this child. The only thing they can just do is to pray for this child. And then the child has now gone to make their own mistakes. You now come back to castigate the parents. Can you imagine? Pastor I mean, it is wrong. It is wrong. Their shortcomings does not it's not a reflection. Shortcomings of their children is not a reflection of who they are. They've trained us aright, and because we've made their mistake does not mean that you now have to punish them, or does not mean that you now have to make them feel like they failed. Anybody, it could have happened to anybody. So I really want us to understand that I mean, taking this pastoral job is a lot. It's draining mentally, physically, financially, a lot. But I mean, who does the work of God never gets tired, yeah? God always renews the strength of those who are diligent in serving Him. So yes, there's been a lot of blessings attached to being a pastor's child. There's been a lot of, God's grace upon our life and God's favor. We cannot even explain it enough. But the reality of being a pastor's child, there's a lot of overwhelming expectation and pressure. And I need you to just really calm down with pastor's children and cut them some slack. Let them to live. Allow them to live and make their own mistakes and let them show up their own identity. And being your pastor said this and this doesn't mean that I automatically have to slip into that shoe that they left behind. No. I have to live my own life and understand God's journey for my life. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. Next time you see a pastor's child, give them a tithe or you need that. And also, if you're a pastor's child, share some experiences, some realities of being a pastor's child, some regular phrases that you've heard being a pastor's child. Phrases like, it's a pastor's child, even you. I'm a pastor, like different kind of phrases that just makes you feel like is it a mistake being a pastor's child. But then overall it's enjoyable. Like I said earlier, thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and engage with my comments, engage with my posts. Until the next time we talk, remain blessed. I love you. Bye.